In This Skin by Pattee. The difference between a good butthole and a bad butthole is the wink. This is the best man talking. The wink, the grease of fried fish shines on my manicure. When it's small and tight and looks like it's giving you a wink. The worst, the groom chimes in, is when you're dating a girl and she's super cute, but then you find out she has a bad butthole. I'm sitting on the patio of a hotel bar in Hawaii with a one-word name, quiche or cliche. Everything smells of cigarette smoke and sunscreen. I'm here for the wedding of a cousin I vaguely remember as a sensitive boy who liked Buzz Lightyear and who was grown into a tall, bronze fraternity man with well-informed opinions about butthole diameter. It's past midnight. Everyone else has gone up to the hotel rooms full of spouses and children, and now there are just four of us left at the table. The groom, my cousin who is too drunk to stand up, the bride who's afraid to leave the groom alone in case he runs off, the best man who looks like he's just getting his night started, and me, the overweight cousin in her 30s who is avoiding the hotel room she is sharing with no one. My butthole, I'm guessing, isn't winking. The rest of the situation is equally grim. My arms spread thick and fluid. The red lines in my neck are a sunset. Even now, I might be fused into my chair, growing through it the way a tree warps around a metal fence. I came to Hawaii alone, not because I wanted to, because I had to. My husband was abducted by aliens or died trying to save a child's beloved ferret, or maybe he just packed up a bag of work shirts and told me not to text him. The point is, he's gone. So I came to Hawaii alone, told everyone he had a last minute thing. This is the part of the story where I could say a lot of things about Hawaii, how different the air feels than Minnesota, perhaps a quaint detail that I happened to note at the airport. But see, I cannot remember a quaint detail from the airport. I can only remember the way the shirt rode up across my back as I leaned forward to haul my suitcase off the conveyor belt. How all around me, fiancés and husbands and boyfriends and fuckboys swing suitcases as effortlessly as performing monkeys. You want some details? Airport bathroom, and I'm afraid to meet my eyes in the mirror. Afraid to make some kind of connection with the sweaty woman in the mirror wearing a wrinkled Banana Republic shirt that looks exactly like mine. The bride leans across the table. Is this your first time in Maui? Her arm is the width of a garden hose. I shake my head. I came here for my honeymoon 7 years and 35 pounds ago. There was a moment during my wedding, during the first dance. You know how it is. The smell of my new husband, nervousness, such a relief to be here finally, married, no longer searching. And then my husband's hands on my back, where my skin met my dress, squeezing lovingly. I shrank away. I couldn't help myself. Don't touch my back fat, I pleaded. The reason nobody can afford to go to Hawaii isn't because of Hawaii. It's because of all the shit you have to buy beforehand so you can feel skinny enough to be allowed to disembark. The cover-ups, the bejeweled sandals, the self-tanner and bronzer and skin brightener and coconut oil. Here's my internet search history from last week. How to lose 10 pounds quickly. Best beach on Maui for sea turtles. Where is the best poke in Lahaina? How many calories are in poke? Do sea turtles bite? The sea turtle thing started because of this fitness blogger I follow, a Southern belle who makes money by posting a picture of her salad every day. This Birmingham bitch, I love her. Can't help it. The day I left for Hawaii, She wore a peasant top with flare sleeves and $400 velvet flats, posing on her doorstep with a basket of tulips. And there I was, dirty IKEA couch, dark apartment, laptop balancing on the thighs, the size of carry-on bags. This is the kind of thing that used to drive my husband nuts. The hours I spend sliding my finger over other people's lives, other women's skin, pictures of their food. You know the shit is fake, right? He'd ask, looking down at my phone. That girl probably ate a Big Mac an hour before she made that nasty looking smoothie. On her Instagram post, she was stretched out underwater like a mermaid. And there, less than 5 feet from her, dainty pale hand, was a sea turtle. But of course, no luck for me on the turtle front. 7 hours I spent on the beach today. 7 hours stuffed into the kind of swimsuit that only moms wear. 7 hours letting the Hawaiian sun turn me into a lobster red internet meme. And nothing. No dark rounded head peeking above the waves. No beaky face scanning the shoreline. When the sun finally set, I threw in the towel and headed here to this bar, to this moment. Turtleless. Oh my God, Danny, tell her about how you fell on a sea turtle. That's the bride talking. Danny is the best man. He seems like a good guy who had a traumatic hazing experience in the military and has been taking it out sexually on women ever since. He's already spent half the night talking about his 3 tours in Iraq and showing us pictures of his baby, a yellow Corvette he brought with the proceeds of the terrorists he killed. So, he starts and leans back in his chair. This is a man used to people leaning in to hear him. This is a man who talks in slow, emphatic strokes like he learned to speak by following the rhythms of his relentless hand jerking himself off. I lean in. Turns out, Danny was also down by the beach today hunting for sea turtles. A full hour he spent monitoring the situation, pounding Corona after Corona, until there in the distance, a head bobbing like the tip of a sea monster's giant dick. A sea monster's giant dick, the groom repeats, amazed at the astuteness of the comparison. And there goes Danny, off like a missile. He's so close within a grenade throw of it all. This giant, ancient, glorious beast, and he can see it now, diving beneath the water. But what he doesn't see is the rock that the turtle is diving to nibble on. And just like that, bam, I'm falling face first onto this thing's back. He pulls up a sleeve off his shirt to show a bruise of his hairless bicep. Now tell her how big it was, says the groom. Danny stretches his arm out. It was a giant fucker. My husband was not like Danny. He did not speak in a way that expected other people that would listen. He would have spent this vacation reading about the plight of the Hawaiian snail, nursing the same beer for 3 hours. If I told him I wanted to see a sea turtle, he would have smiled and softly said at me, "But does a sea turtle want to see you?" The idea to go hunt a sea turtle is the groom's. But soon, Danny starts chanting, "Skinny dip, skinny dip." The bride laughs nervously, but the groom heads down towards the beach. She follows reluctantly, trying to fit this turn of events into her night before wedding narrative. Danny glances across the table at me. "You coming?" I shake my head. "I'm waiting for the check." "Already paid it," he says. "You're drinking on me tonight." I was not expecting this. I was not thinking that I would have to explain why I do not want to get naked and go stand in wild, dark water with people I don't like and in firmer body skins than mine. He sees my hesitation and lurches forward until I can smell the exact vintage of this Corona. "Come on," he says. "Don't you want to catch a turtle?" "You can't catch them," I say, but he's already stumbled into the darkness. I follow him down the winding path to the water because I want to see a sea turtle. That's what I'm telling myself. The three of them are ghosts on the seashore, clothing in lumps like kelp on the sand, laughter like sea lions. The physical motion of removing clothes is easy, hands on dress, dress over head. But this doesn't accurately represent the mental gymnastics it takes to bear yourself. Like, what's the big deal? Nobody here is going to fuck you anyways. And you know what? Screw them. Screw their skinny limbs. Screw their perfect bodies. Followed up with, maybe you're not as fat as you think. And maybe they're not drunk enough to forget. I, I think I see one, yells the bride. Hang on, Danny shouts and tries to run gallantly through the waves, but ends up stumbling and dropping his corona. By the time he gets to the spot, she is pointing. There is something there. There is nothing there. Just flaccid water. We start searching the ocean with hands outstretched like nets. Danny is yelling out instructions. Stay in formation so he can't get away. In recent years, sea turtles in Hawaii have started to grow tumors on their faces. Where a smooth green forehead should be, instead, a rocky boulder sits. A pamphlet from the hotel lobby states that despite not being harmful, the growth can restrict the ability to perform basic functions such as breathing and maneuvering. I'm telling you this to say that maybe this is why my husband is gone, because I attached to his body and grew round and calcified until he could not perform his basic functions such as breathing and maneuvering. Maybe the turtles were asleep. Maybe they heard us coming and slipped away. I mean, maybe they're all extinct by now. The bride is complaining loudly about the fact that the groom is hammered and hasn't finished writing his vows. The groom is attempting to piece words into a sentence while simultaneously trying to stay upright in the waves. Danny is kicking at the water like he's trying to make contact with the turtle's startled face. I walk past them deeper in the ocean, and then I float on my back and stare up at the sky. Let the waves rock me from side to side. When I finally look around, Danny is the only one left. He's staring out at the milky darkness of the horizon. His chest is smooth as the underbelly of a sea marlin. When he turns, the muscles contract in ballet formation. Where'd they go? I ask. To get another drink, he says. He starts telling me about his last girlfriend who used his credit card to pay for the fake boobs and then started fucking her boss based on the newfound status the boobs gave her that he paid for on his goddamn AMX. And the whole time he's stuck in Kuwait, jacking off the pictures of her new tits. He can't even download the video she sent. That's how bad the Wi-Fi is here. That's how much they fucking care about their soldiers. And she doesn't even have the courtesy to wait until he's home to dump him. She just does it on Instagram, DM. Oof, that's tough, I say. Well, you know, he says, you're single too, as if it needs to be pointed out, as if there are happily married people who come along to a wedding in Hawaii and skinny dip with a bunch of strangers, as if everything about me just screams matrimonial bliss. Dave said your husband left you. Ugh, for some reason, that makes my eyes burn. Not the fact that he said it, or that my dick cousin is telling all his friends about it, but something about how neatly it can be wrapped up into a sentence. That all the little bouncy tassels on my cover-ups and overpriced tan lotions didn't change a thing, and that all night, everyone's looking over at me thinking, well, no wonder. And then maybe because he shared his whole fake boob saga, or maybe just because I want to tell anyone the truth, I say, he moved out 5 weeks ago. The ocean absorbs the truth, unimpressed. Why? Danny asked. It wasn't my weight, but the space my weight took up. In our conversations on our date nights, every time we went on vacation or someone pulled out a camera, and all the diets, the keto diet, the lemon juice diet, and the no carb diet, and the slow carb diet, each new diet was like a wave, lifting me high in the air and then dumping me back down on the ground, heavier than before. He said I had too much baggage, I say. Yeah, you want to get another drink? Danny asked. I got the makings of Jaeger bombs in my room. And then this is the problem with my body. I can't even say yes to casual sex with the best man at my own cousin's wedding, because halfway through, I'll be wondering whether he's fucking me out of pity or desire, whether I'm sexier than I think, or if he's disgusted by the way my waistband leaves a red belt on my skin, whether he's going to laugh about this to my cousin, or worse, pretend it never happened. But what's my other option? Sit in a hotel room, sit with my back to the full length mirror, and then give in and look? All right, I say to Danny, maybe just one. Danny pulls the shorts on. I try to quickly slide my dress on, but the cloth keeps getting stuck on my wet skin. Maybe I will look back later, and this will be the only enjoyable part of the whole damn trip. The way that the world holds you differently when you're barefoot and tipsy, the feeling of mystery that hasn't yet dissolved into something familiar that I won't even remember. Oh shit! Danny grabs my forearms, pointing ahead to a dark shape by the edge of the water. That's a bunch of kelp, I say. No, it's a turtle. Then why is it moving? It's asleep, he says. We go closer. He's right. It's a fucking sea turtle, facing the ocean, its head on the sand, just inches from the water. Maybe it's dead? A fishing net caught in its throat? I walk forward until I can see the markings on her shell, the soft slump of her shoulder. They bite, Danny says from behind me, a thread of uncertainty in his voice. Everyone bites, I tell him. Everyone has a fishing net caught in their throat. Everyone winds up on a beach alone in the dark, unable to go forward or backwards. I kneel down and place my hand on its back, searching for life. The scales of shell feels like the surface of a boulder. It's a big boy, Danny says, laughing a nervous laugh. That's for sure. Not a boy, a girl. The males stay at sea for their entire lives. Only the females come ashore, hauling their thick bodies over miles of beach to lay eggs, and then make that slow, desperate crawl back to the ocean, past gawking tourists and plastic bags. What kind of effort does it take to move that much mass through wet sand? What kind of exhaustion causes you to give up so close to the water? I think she needs help, I say. Oh, fuck no, Danny says. I'm not touching that thing. They don't bite, I say. I Googled it. Maybe she's resting. Maybe she's playing dead. But she needs to get to the water. I slide my hands under her enormous belly, but I know I can't move her. Just help me, I say. And then, please. Danny edges over to the other side of the turtle, carefully, like he's scouting for landmines. On a count of three, I say, because that seems like what people say in the movies. We lift again and again. I can feel the tendons in my neck straining with the mammoth weight. We've barely shifted the turtle forward a quarter of an inch. Another 6 lifts. Danny shakes his arms out. I'm sobering up, he says, doubt in his voice, like he's seeing this moment and me for the first time. Just a few more minutes, I plead, panting. The thing is dead, Danny says. He stands up and wipes his hands on his shorts. My arms are shaking and my legs are burning from being crouched down, and I'm so tired. Tired of being so tired and so heavy. The sand is sucking at my ankles. This beach has been waiting for me for a long time. The night my husband left, he looked down at me, sitting on the couch, and said, I left the garage opener in the kitchen, which was just an excuse for me to stop him from leaving, since who gives a flying fuck about a garage opener at a time like this? And couldn't he have written that in an email? He stood there, waiting. I didn't say, I'm done with dieting. I didn't say, I'll get my shit together. I just nodded and stared at the TV, where a charming British baker unfurled a long, buttery strand of croissant dough. My husband just stood there, holding his work shirt in a garbage bag, watching me watch TV. And then he left. Are you coming or what? Danny is looking down at me, pissed. I'm about to nod, about to stand up, but then I see a small movement in one flipper, just the tiniest flicker. Did I imagine it? Oh, she's so close. Go without me, I say to Danny, even though that breaks all the rules of who gets to fuck who. And weeks from now, if he posts a workout pic on his Instagram, I'll probably regret turning him down. Are you kidding me? Danny says, laughing and then not laughing. You're fucking crazy, he yells and kicks at the stand. He walks away without looking back. I lie down next to the turtle, lay my hand across her shell. From a distance, I hear Danny yell that I owe him for the bar tab. Then silence. We'll just lie here for a while, I whisper to her. Just rest for a bit, you and me. Above us, the clouds move across the sky. The stars search for themselves in the reflection of the ocean. Only the moon knows exactly how big and small we really are.